And to the old members that have found their way back to the community, I need you just as much as you need me. And today's live will be taking a very close look at a dangerous precedent right now XRB is trying to set up here for what we've been expecting. It's just we were targeting trying to push back up to that 66.6 cents. But for anybody who was here for this morning's update, unfortunately, XRP overnight formed a ascending formation that we fell outside of. And it seems to suggest that we could have a possibility of coming down a little bit here. So we'll take a look at what that looks like. But we'll also take a look at Bitcoin, how it did what we talked about. We talked about how it had a technical target up to 71K if it fulfilled it all the way up. But we at least anticipated a push to 69.2, maybe a tap at 70K, and then we could start coming back down. It hit over just over 70,000, I think 70,100 maybe. And then it pulled back down to roughly 66,263 or 283, which is significant because we talked about as long as Bitcoin holds a key pivot area, that the pattern technically is not bearish until it loses this pattern. And that's the pivot point we came down to. And as of right now, we still held that. So that technical target is still in play. So now we need to see if we in fact do come up to 71,169. And we can move up. My cat is meowing. Hold on 1 second. Go. Come on. Yeah, come inside. Silly cat. Kitty. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. My cat ran outside and didn't really want it outside because it started raining. So yeah, with Bitcoin, we're still looking at that possibility of coming up to 71,100. Now we still need to look at where we have in this rotation, if we did double top or not. So we're gonna be looking very closely at a lot of things today. There's actually a lot more than typical to talk about as far as the formation and you know, it's just something pretty interesting. I'm actually going to move this a little bit so I have more room here. So yeah, but with XRP, we're still looking at the possibility here with the ascending formation it created that this could be our key indicator that we may not come all the way up to 66.6. And even if we did push up 63.8 all the way up to 64.6 cents, could have capped any upside now, as we talked about in the update earlier. So if you're new, this is going to be very important. I'll go through the patterns. We'll have a basic understanding of what's going on. And then we have to switch directions as well today. And we got to read through two different things. One, an XRP community activist rebukes Ripple price manipulation allegations. So I'll love to read this with each and every one of you. And then XRP drops alongside mass profit taking by Ripple holders. So we'll also talk about the fact that an extraordinary amount of holders were taking profit as well. So we got a lot to talk about here. So please make sure to hit that like button so that YouTube will recommend this live and it'll allow more people to reach our beautiful community and allow us to have an ever-evolving flow here. As only 34 people have hit that like button so far, so we could definitely hit that like button, help YouTube recommend this video. So I'm going to timestamp this, and as I do this and say hello to everybody in the comments, please hit that like button if you respect my work and you want to see this community continue to grow, because we have built something special and we're only getting started here. Only getting started. So good early afternoon, 1:53 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, March 8th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So as we can see, we have a little bit of up and down here ourselves. So not exactly what it appears to be. We have so much to talk about in such a short amount of time here. And then we get to do it again tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you all join. So we'll get a basic understanding of what's going on. We'll do a nice back and forth. But this is going to be, I'm really, these are my favorite kind of lives. So good afternoon, XRP, Ricky, Mo, and UK Phil. Thank you all three for being a part of Tom's Army for 3 months now with the emoji, with the XRP Meteor. Thank you so much for that. Ricky says, amazing work as always. I appreciate that. And good evening to you, Mo, and hello, UK Phil. Good morning, Anthony Venegas. Welcome in. Captain Crypto Morgan, yo, my friend. John Hall, good afternoon, my brother, and welcome into you. And you're welcome, my friend. Louisville, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Beautiful, beautiful gesture. IB Killen, welcome in. And thank you, one of my earliest mods. I don't mind 55 cents. I'm just restacking my bags anyways. Well, we'll see how likely that 55 cents is. But something tells me if, and this is a big if, because the catalyst would be Bitcoin does not break and hit that 71 and take over and then retest on a bullish formation, that's 69.2. If we retested 69.2 and then eventually push past 71.1, after tapping it, well, that changes the narrative again. And we can show you how the narrative could change within the XRP formation. The ascending formation, and then ultimately the falling, or the rising channel we fell out of must be busted. But we've given ourselves a new layer of resistance that didn't even seem plausible yesterday, but I'll show you what I'm talking about in a minute. MR, welcome in time. Why is XP only following market drops and never pumps? MR, the main reason, and this is something that we need to dive into and everybody needs to realize more, is XRP, ladies and gentlemen, stop back, go. Because yes, a lot of things are in bull markets. XRP is not one of them. XRP has not sniffed a bull market in a very long time. For XRP to even start talking about how it could have these big pumps and the fact that it is trying to come back into a bull market, two things have to happen. One, before we can even have a sustainable bear market rally, we must break out of our 77-month consolidation. Everybody needs to hear this. If you're new, old, if you're watching this during the live, after the live, tell your neighbors, tell your friends, anybody who likes XRP, tell them, slow down. We are not in a bull market for XRP. Yes, Bitcoin is. Yes, many other cryptos are, but XRP is not. XRP at all-time highs in January of 2018, 330 depending on what exchange, the 350. Took us 77 months right now on consolidations that we're still in that same formation. Swing low all the way down just over 10 cents. We hit again in $1.97, $1.98, confirming a bear market rally of epic proportions. Hit it again for a third time on support in 22, fourth time in 23, fifth time in 23. And now we're going back up for a third at a resistance. At some point, if we do it before, like I've been saying, June, it can be anywhere between 72 and 75 cents. If we do it at the end of the year, December of 24 or January of 25, where the pattern must end, then it could be as low as like 68, 69 cents. Until this pattern is broken, we are just in a continuing consolidation. As of right now, as long as that uptrend holds and we break bullish at some point, this is considered a bullish consolidation. And then the technical target is $1.97, which is convenient because if you were to play that technical target, then you would put in a grand cup, just like Bitcoin just did from April of 21 until, what was it, March of 24. That's exactly what XRP would do. It's exactly what XRP would do. That's why I keep saying this is the accumulation phase for XRP. Eventually, we are going to break out of this and do exactly what you see Bitcoin do. But remember, back in 2021 in April, from 63 cents, and nobody seems to recall, or at least the new members into the XRP audience would not know this. Back in April of 21, and we were here. This is when I started my station, March 30th of 21. And ironically, I was partner in 6 weeks, but that only happened because I told everybody to buy XRP. We averaged at 47 cents. And then I told everybody to sell at $1.66 after we hit all-time highs, after it looked like we were failing to come back up at $1.70. We sold it on the way down, and it was a grand sale. Didn't buy back until 34.6 cents overall on our average on our long hold now. But understand this. XRP's technical target would be $1.98 if we break out of this 77-month consolidation, which means that that target would put in a very big cup. This is the key you need to understand about this. In April of 21, XRP, from when it finally broke out, let's just say 62 cents on that consolidation, and we finally broke out. It took 12 days to finish the entire move. 12 days. So yes, it's behind Bitcoin. It was behind Bitcoin then. It'll always be behind Bitcoin. It took 12 days to catch up. When all the other tokens are taking 6 months to do their thing, XRP took 12 whole days. So in 12 days, you went from 62 cents to $1.98 and the run was over. Nobody wanted to admit it except this channel, and I lost half my audience. But now we've times my audience by over 20, so I think it was worth it. So that's what everybody needs to understand, to be honest. Alice Pond, I did. And shame on me, too. You know, there's kids and everybody that are watching now, parents with their kids, so, you know, I had to change my whole demeanor from a few years ago. I commend the 116 people here, so hopefully, does that make sense? Does that make sense? And I'll show everybody on the chart exactly what I'm talking about. But let me finish these comments because I think that makes perfect sense. And if you have not hit that like button, you better hit that like button now. If you respect me, if you think XRP is eventually going to finish off this cup, how about this? We got 71 people that have hit the like button, 122 people watching. Do you think XRP is going to finish off a grand cup like Bitcoin? And like I said in 21, it only took 12 days to go from 62 cents to $1.98. 12 days, that was it. That's why I say XRP makes you rich quick. Imagine having $6,000 in and then all of a sudden it turned into 18 in 12 days. You're like, oh my God. Yes. But then most people didn't sell it. So that money turned back into likely negative. And they're like, I hate XRP. Do it right. Do it right, because when it explodes, if you understand the accumulation, it's a beautiful, and it happens every cycle. It just so happens it's in the cycle right now. MR, welcome in. I hope that helped explain that. Mr. Boshangles, welcome in. What's up, my friend? Tom, you're always here to make sure we know what's going on. As always, we appreciate you. Number 35 like. Yes, and we'll go over Telecoin at some point in this live if I can fit it in for you, Mr. Boshangles, because I really want to. Alice Pond, welcome in. Kyle Kupiak, welcome in. Cape Cod Kyle. Sometimes it shows us he's part of Tom's army. Sometimes it doesn't. Today it's the villain on YouTube, but yesterday it showed us. Julian, welcome in. I do respect your work. Hello from the UK. I appreciate that, Julian. I know Cape Cod Kyle. I don't understand what's going on. It just showed us yesterday where you were from. I mean, that you were part of Tom's army. Now all of a sudden it's taking it away again. Unbelievable. Let's see. Percent better, just bought more XRP. Interesting. Ramming speed, XRP started as 40% of my portfolio. I haven't sold because of its underperforming. It's only 20% of my portfolio at this point. There's no point selling. Exactly. See, you're doing it right. You're just like me. You're just like me. XRP is my biggest bag, but I have so many different things in it now. Even if it's not moving, my portfolio is still moving very nicely. So that's the thing. You hide XRP with all of your other things. Who just said that? Ramming speed, you just 100% are the epitome of what I love to see. That's the kind of comment I like to see. XRP's 20%. It started out as 40. You have what you want, obviously, but you divulge and you expand it into different things. But assets that you think are going to push forward. So that's all anybody can ask. So you're not putting it all on XRP to do its thing, but you're understanding what you hold at the same time. See, that's what I did. I delegated into different things. With that massive run in 21 that we just talked about. Because I sold out so early and only had to use those profits of about $3,500 to get back into XRP at 10,000, which was 23% or 28% more than I held originally. But I still have a little bit more than that. As I say, I always have 2,000 to 3,000 on hand if I want to buy something, because I still use the technology in the USA every chance I get. And it makes me smile every time when I can buy something with my XRP, even though they tell us in the USA it's not part of the system. Don't listen to them. It is. It is. Messi, welcome in. Matt Holden, thank you for tuning in, being in Tom's Army for 5 months with the XRP Predictor. Beautiful. We got through the comments nice today. JBHK, absolutely, but one last dip first. Yes, it seems that way. Tanya, welcome in, love, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year. Man, I can't believe it's been 1 year already. Over 1 year, with the I told you so badge. You should have gone in on meme coins. Should have gone on. You sure about that? Sure about that, brother? You know, it's easy to look at something and say, I should have bought this or that. But would you have bought at the right time? Would you have sold out on those big drops in between the time you bought it? Most people miss the runs on meme coins. You know why? Because they buy in before and then they get shaken out on a 20% drop before the actual run, or 30% drops. Meme coins are a beautiful thing to chase, but you know the way up, most of that's institutions that are getting on first. You know the way down, that's most of us fantasizing about retail and wanting to be rich. That's how they do it. But if you would have done it in the long game like you're speaking, sure. Like if we would have looked at Pepe and started building it when it had that massive crash last year when everybody thought they were getting rich and it dumped out like 90%. And now it's starting to recirculate up, not yet back to the highs, but had we have bought the rotation down, sure. Absolutely. And there were some 7, 8, 900%. But like for me, it's not necessarily about not buying the right things. It's about right now understanding like that the prices we have, it may not look like some of these meme coins, but I'm telling you, as the years go on, the meme coins fizzle out for a reason. And even if you long hold them, those initial even 1000x or 1000% moves are wiped out over the time. So what I'm trying to build is like how I sold out a DGB at 15 cents, okay, in 21. Now I was able to buy it at a 0.007 average and have 7.7 times the amount I had for less than I had originally put in. So now, instead of getting a 1x every time because my average was 5 cents back then, and I was up 200% at 15 cents, if it ever gets back to 15 cents, now we're talking 2,000% gains instead of 300%. See, that's where the long-term vision can help you. But you have to make sure like the ISO tokens are the ones you pick. The Internet of Things tokens are the ones you pick. Ones that have substance, ones that are gaming tokens, and one that I always point to that I think is very underrated. There's two of them. Zaliqua Network is all about the gaming and buying stuff in the AI verse. But so is Gala. Those are two that very much get overlooked and they're very cheap. Very cheap. You know, so these are things that I'm looking at. The meme coin thing, that's like when I used to trade and I would be in a penny stock and another penny stock would run. The more you get mad about that, the easier you go bankrupt. Schlo says, bro, are you talking to me? I mean, sure, you could say that. You could say that, my friend. I have no idea what I'm talking about. If you are in fact talking to me, but you know, the fact that you're seeing me do my job even before I had a YouTube channel would suggest otherwise. You know, the fact that my portfolio in a bear market's up from 7,000 and some change up to 18,000 almost right now. We're just over 17.5. It's like that, you know. So not knowing what you're doing or even building a precious metals database as well, being your own central bank. So, you know, some people don't know what they're doing, but they're not in the US dollar and they're doing all these other things that everybody else should. They're one step ahead. Normally, that person who doesn't know, you think they don't know because you have no idea what's actually going on. So I do appreciate that because you're keeping me in check today. So what's going on with XRP today? XRP's at 62.2 cents. We did have a drop down to about 58 cents earlier. What happened today, though, is we were chasing yesterday. We fell outside of a rising channel. And the beauty of this is this rising channel that we fell outside of started February 27th of this year. Well, it also coincided with the exact same movement that would have had us come up and retest this rising channel resistance from June of 2022. We also, if you're new, had that descending triangle formation from January of 2024, and we front ran this move. And I told everybody, and everybody who's here, maybe some are new, don't know, but when XRP was at 48.8 cents, I came on and I shared for 2 to 3 weeks. And if you're new, the only thing I can show you is that I kept doing this despite, you know, if we were going slow or whatever. But you'll see on here the updates. The ones that are 20 minutes, those are my updates. The other ones are lives, and then I do one short a day. But every single time I shared the exact same image as we were going up about that 25% move from the top of the rising channel. But we were calling from the bottom at 38 or 48.8 cents, that 35 to 40% moved to 66.6 cents. But now comes the hard part. Now comes the hard part. This was the hardest part of this formation, not getting up here. It's the consolidation that likely is to come. So instead of coming up there initially, we did have a nice setup here where we thought we could come back and at least back test it. But yesterday we noticed something was changing. So what ended up happening is instead of coming up here to the rising channel, we got tipped off overnight. And I showed this in the update this morning before the drop down, that we could find ourselves at 56 cents before we could even blink if this plays down wrong. And that's exactly what happened. It didn't quite climb to 56, but it came down on some exchanges came to 58. This one came to 59.6. This is BITUNIX. And but what happened was we formed this ascending formation. And when we came outside of it, we ended up getting rejected on the bottom of it. Couldn't push back through, and then it was just done. So that tipped us off that something was wrong here last night. Now, we've had two consolidatory candles. I'd be kind of surprised if it didn't come back up here, now retest that 64 cents we talked about earlier. But unless we get past this formation, that would cap any upside, and we would not be able to get back to that 66.6 cent. Or now it's going to be about 67. We can see exactly where it's at on that rising channel. But this should be, now it's up about 69. So if we bounce properly here, we could move up all the way to 69. But it's going to be very dependent on Bitcoin. And the problem here with Bitcoin is we came up, and we came up just over 70,000. We hit 70,194. We know the technical target 71,169 from that flash drop a few days ago, and it created a little flag. Now, we also knew if we came to a double top and pulled back through and lost 66,298 or 283, it was over. Fortunately, that pivot point held up perfectly. And for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, we sure do. We do a pretty good job in this community. A lot of people don't think anybody in the XRP community knows anything, but it's just because we get a negative connotation, because most people who put out the content, let's face it, they're trying to get rich off of your lack of knowledge. You know, that's just the bottom line. So, but we do something different here. We make sure that we know what we're talking about so nobody can trick us. And that's the value here. And if you're like, how do I trade XRP? Or if you're one of these people as well, you're like, I have spot XRP. I've done a beautiful job building my portfolio. But I'd like to practice leverage trading. Maybe not just for the fact of you want to start building a portfolio in that way, or you want to take a chance or gamble. But you want to learn the market. And the most value I can tell you is take $50 and put it on a 5X. If you have the spare money on a leverage. And watch the difference in how your mind will focus on the market moving 5 times faster. And then take $10 if you have it and put it at 50x and see just how fast the market moves up and down to liquidate these little segments of money, or how quickly one can make money doing it. But the bottom line is to see the ebb and flows of a trading bot. Why they might move in that kind of a micromanagement of like a 2.5 to 3% rotation from up and down before a breakout. Start to understand what it means if somebody's on 75x leverage from having $5 on a position. And see how fast it moves and how short the liquidation is. And just see the difference. Let it evolve and see how certain people make a living. But also see how exchanges make a living by liquidating certain people that are trying to make a living. You need to understand all the facets. So if you can understand the market at a 5, 10, 50, 75, 150, 200x capacity, everybody always asks me how can you recognize it in a spot circumstance so quickly? Because if you look at it from a sped up performance, even if you're not trading, you start to micromanage not just the short term, mid-term, but the long term as well. So if you're looking to leverage trade and not just spot trade, or do both, and you're in the USA and you're sick of using a VPN, you want to go to an exchange that's accepted XRP from the beginning and never turn their back on it because of regulation and uncertainty, you want to go somewhere obviously that has its papers in the US, which BITUNIX does since 22, and you want to go to an exchange in Canada as well since 24, but you also want to go to an exchange where you don't have the high times of volatility where the exchange is down, like Binance and Coinbase and Kraken and our favorite Uphold. Even though they've been supporting us the whole time, their fees are outrageous and they're always down in high times of volatility, so you're not going to be able to sell, especially when we have big moves up or down. And they kill you on the spot fees, and you can't leverage trade. So click on BITUNIX. It's in the pinned comments below. That's where I found myself trading more. Whenever I open leverage positions, I open it there. Lowest spot fee and leverage trading fees in the USA. And the fact that everything I've mentioned before, you don't need to use a VPN. And like me, I didn't even do a know your customer, KYC, the biggest pain in the you know what. If you're trying to do it anonymously, go to BITUNIX. I didn't even sign up in the regards of using a driver's license or anything. Just my email address, and that's it. So unless you're depositing money from your bank or withdrawing it into your bank, obviously you'll have to know your customer. But if you're going from exchange to exchange, take advantage of the exchanges that take advantage, or don't therefore take advantage of us. Take advantage of the ones that are willing to support us and put their neck out there. I'm sick of supporting the exchanges that are ripping us off, that aren't even there during the high times of volatility, because nothing makes me more upset. I would try, I'm pretty sure BITUNIX you can use there as well. But if not, in the video description below, look at MEXC if you're outside the USA for leverage trading. They right now have, and the promotion only goes for a few more weeks, but I know for a fact they still have 0% leverage trading fees. But I would look at BITUNIX first. David says, can confirm about BITUNIX. Excellent, David. So you're understanding how cool BITUNIX is, like I am over. Since last July is when I first found it, and I was pissed. Because I cost myself so much money. But, yeah, so if you're in the UK, I would look at BITUNIX. I would look at it. I just know for us in the US and Canada, which is what is more, obviously for us, what we pay attention to more over here, they have trading licenses in both. But I would look at MEXC. That's in the video description below as well, because of their low futures trading fees. And being in the UK, that's what I would say. David, you just found out because of me about it. I'm so glad that it's actually paying off, because I never pinned it in the comments. And I was like, how stupid am I? I'm talking about it, now nobody can get there. And for a while, I wasn't talking about it, but I'm just so sick of being... David, I know you understand how big of a relief it is not to be trading on uphold and actually having the option to leverage trade if you want, but just not being hit on those spot fees. To put it mildly, if I buy $1,000 worth on BITUNIX, I should get about $998 worth of stuff. If I buy it on uphold, I'll probably get $940 worth of stuff. That's a big freaking difference. You know, so it's a big difference. Trust me. I cost myself $1,100 selling on uphold when we had that big rally in 21. And had I just known about BITUNIX, I could have sold it all out and sent it to Kraken via Tether and maybe lost like 40 or 50 bucks instead of 1,100 almost. When I sold it and it showed me how much I lost from, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. So anyhow, but that's that. Also, if you want to show me personal support, consider joining Tom's Army or sending a YouTube super chat. All I ask is one time per month to pay it forward. Have not got a donation this afternoon, but that's not important. We're red today. What's important is you're all here. And if you hit that like button so YouTube recommends this live, we continue to expand this community. Sometimes the biggest donation you can get is just hitting that like button. It has nothing to do with monetizing, nothing to do with like a monetization type of thing. Just hit that like button, contribute in the comments, and as long as we stay ahead, you've contributed enough, in my opinion. You know, you've contributed enough. So that's what we're seeing with XRP. It's very clear with Bitcoin, and I'm very passionate this afternoon. Well, we already talked about Bitcoin, only because I can see what's starting to set up here, and I can also see the uncertainty. But you know what else I've noticed the past few days? The hustle, or the ones who will come in and hassle, or you know, the ones who are going to be ringers out in the crowd who are shouting that XRP sucks and we don't know anything. You're going to see a lot more of that as well. Just wait until we get into a proper run. Wait until you see what kind of comments you get. But don't feel sorry for yourself. See, it's like I always say, the wandering eye. Like if you live in a house, you should be proud of the fact you live in a house. If you have an apartment, be happy you're in an apartment. If you're in a trailer, I was once in a trailer and an apartment before my house. Be proud you're in both. Don't ever look at what somebody else has and be like, oh man, I'm not happy with what I have right in front of me and what I've earned because somebody else has more. You don't know the circumstance. So The same thing with crypto and your portfolios. If you own something and you're happy with it, okay, so let's just put it this way. My XRP holdings, and yeah, I've already said it's one of my worst performing assets that I've had in the last year. And people hear that and they're like, haha, see? You shouldn't have held XRP. Look what you could have got instead of it. But granted, even on that drop today, my worst performing asset, even at 60 cent area, is 73.9% year over year. So understanding that having my money there, performing at least, instead of sitting in the US dollars, it gets hammered over inflation year over year. And I can buy things with this if I want, which means my purchasing power has gone up by 73% in the last year. See, that's what most aren't realizing. Instead of spending $1, I spend a lot of money through XRP now from holdings that I bought a long time ago because I bought over the top of what I wanted for this very purpose. Those purchasing power is up 73% year over year. So to buy the same things I want, it's like I'm getting a 73% discount. Just downloaded BITUNIX app. Thanks, Tom. Hey, you're welcome, Martin. You're welcome. You are welcome. Hopefully you clicked on the link as well so that you could see their, it'll show you their deposit bonus if you click on the link as well. It'll pop up right on the page instead of making you search for and trying to sign up for that nonsense. But they do have pretty lofty deposit bonuses. If you if you deposit a decent amount of money, they definitely take care of the richer ones. Out of my price range, but you get a free $3,000 if you're one of the big spenders. But anyhow, and it goes down from there from 500,000 down on deposit. So we did read through all of this. The XRP market cap, a big thing that we're seeing here as well, is that 33.96 billion is that big pivot point for XRP. If at any point this were to get rejected on, we are coming down here to 32 billion. We've already been there once, but the way we've come back up, we're crashing in volume, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very bearish sign. Unfortunately, you're going to have rising price. This isn't what we're looking bad at. Actually, it is because it's rounding back up. And I have it inverted. But rising price, crashing volume, that's bearish. That's telling us we're about to have a bearish reversal. Everything that I'm seeing is pointing a little bearish here. Even if we come up to that 69 cent mark, this isn't building up in a proper fashion here for the XRP price. Even if you look at it from an XRP perspective, there's no volume. Like, where's our volume on this push-up? You can see it's decreasing. That's even in this short tube candles, it's decreasing on the push-up. That's bad. We could be... This isn't good. This isn't good. Okay, this isn't good. Unless Bitcoin, by some miracle, does pop up and break over 71,100 or hit it and then backtest 69,387 approximately, it's going to be interesting. One could even argue now, we can say we have that backtest there, but now forget 69,300. Now you got a backtest here because you created that new high. So unless Bitcoin can get up there and hold, but what's going to start happening here, and we've talked about this 100 times, if not 1 billion times, when you start to create these functions, is it a bear flag or a bull flag? It's designed in a bear flag, but because it pulled up like this, doesn't it have to exhaust it first? So that's all we're seeing right now. But the volume is just not there. Unless we see some volume, this is going to get tricky very quickly. And it's going to happen in a blink of an eye. Bitcoin's going to be at 68,700, then it's not. And you're going to look up and be like, what the hell is going on? It's at 62 and we're down 7,000. What? I went out to the store. Oh. I believe still Bitcoin, unless we can grab some volume in it, I would be stunned. I'd be stunned if it can hold this recent handle as the all-time handle, the small handle. It was our first target, though. We know the 10,000 drop handle was our first target, and we said we'd come back up here, make a double top, but would it be enough? We just didn't think it would be enough. We thought it could do this, but then ultimately it would play up and then have to play into the bigger one, and at least have to hold the uptrending support, which is at 55K on the broadening wedge. So to me, it feels like a dump. It feels like a dump. I almost want to go short with like what I want to do is I want to go short on Bitcoin with like a 50x, just $200. And I want to play it short all the way down to at least 55K is my plan. But doing it properly, do you take the chance and take it out here, which would be nice? And then if we look to see where our liquidation would be, because it's small, you wouldn't even be able to make it all the way back up here. So then you might have to do 30, whatever the case may be. I really want to take out, but you have to make sure it's at the proper spot. So for us, we know 66,283. Once that gives way, that should open up the door, confirm the head formation. And then, yeah, it's not the top, but it's the proper analysis. And then you short it from 66,188, let's say. And then that can give you, even down to 55K, or 56 if it hits right here, that's 15.4%. Just to there. Well, we know if it breaks through that, then it could go to 38 to 42. I believe Bitcoin is going to put in a big dump right before the halving, and this is going to be one of those sell the rumor, buy the news events if it plays out this way. Right now, everybody is buying the rumor, but now leading into it, they're going to sell, which means that a lot of it's going to cool off if it does do this part of it. And if this happens, yes, XRP is going to dump to possibly 55. Worst case scenario, 38.4 cents if Bitcoin does its worst case scenario to 38 to 42. And we have that concrete evidence with XRP because the all-time consolidation the last 77 months after hitting all-time highs, that support right now is at 38, and we'll look at it right now. This is the all-time formation that I referenced before for everybody who's new. And when we hit all-time highs, we'll go back here on the daily chart where I circled it. That's back in January 2018. Where I circled it on the bottom down here, the first circle, is back in March of 2020. It took 27 months, about 27 months to hit that swing low after hitting the high. Then where I circled it the second time with the arrow down is when the lawsuit was announced. We had a flash drop right back down to that uptrend and it held. Then where I put the arrow up is when we had the 12-day rally, folks. Watch this. So this is the crazy part. Look at XRP right here. We'll just say 57.3 cents. That was on April 5th. From 57.3 cents. Okay, so it was 9 days. We went from 50, what was that? 50. See how crazy this is? You see how crazy it was to run? The first day it broke out here, the bottom at 58.5 cents. It went from 58.5 cents to $1.98 in 9 days. Even I gave it too much credit, saying 12 days. It took 9 days. So when we talk about XRP is behind, it always is behind. It always is behind. That's why you have to be in during the accumulation and out before you can even blink if it's going to end the rally. But we knew back here you didn't have to just get out. It was coming down. We had a big consolidation. It came all the way down to 95 cents. So I held, anybody who watched, and then you've seen it come back up. We held all the way down here because we knew it was going to come back up. There had to be a big blow off the top. And then after that, we were going to consolidate back up. Once we came up, we failed at $1.75. I'm like, oh, shit. I held it again to $1.22. Right here, when we failed to get to $1.70, I tell this all the time. On that wick back down, I sold at $1.66. Never looked back until we hit the uptrend in 23 at 34.6 cents where I was comfortable. And I got back. But that's the point. XRP now, we're still in that same 77-month consolidation, which means we can't even go bullish until we break out of this. It's that simple. So right now in today's terms, we have to get above 74.8 cents just to become somewhat bullish. Now, the technical target breaking out of this is $1.98 if you play it true. And let's just say for argument's sake, XRP plays it true. What would it have formed going all the way back there that Bitcoin just did? And it's going to look weird because it's on the monthly. But you guessed it. A big cup. This is where Bitcoin's at right now. I mean, come on now. All we have to do is pay attention to what the hell's going on. We're just behind. And remember, it only took 9 days to get up there last time. So what if I told you, okay, well, it takes a little while, but XRP gets to June 7th, it's at 54 cents or 58 cents on June 7th. And by June 16th, it's up here creating that cup. You'd say, oh, well, that's fine. So we don't know when it's going to happen. But as long as we don't break down the uptrending support, it will happen. And that uptrending support right now that's held 5 consecutive times, as of right now, is around 38 cents. On today's terms, 38.3 cents. It can go all the way out until December of this year, January if you want to be conservative, until this has to end. That means a 84-month consolidation is coming to an end, whether we like it or not, even if it doesn't break out, at the worst, January of this upcoming year, or December of this year. So we better be damn sure what we're doing with our portfolios in the meantime, and try to have a basic understanding of not just XRP, but what's going on across the market. You know, I just see too many people make a comment, well, you're stuck in XRP. It's as if it's the only thing we've ever owned or ever. You know, it's almost like, I love when people say it, because I know one day, just like in 21 when everybody started crying that they weren't holding it, it's going to be the same thing, and then they start crying it because they're holding it when everybody who was smart and bought during the accumulation is already out. They're the ones buying it from you on the way out. But they're also the ones laughing at you on the way in and not buying it while you're on your way in when nobody wants it. They're joining the masses when everybody gets excited. Once everybody is excited and buying, I'm walking out. Told everybody, when everybody's walking that way, I'm screaming over here, hey, what are you doing? Can't you see everybody, even your mom wants to buy crypto? It's too late. Right now, my dad doesn't want it. Nobody wants it. Nobody I know even wants to talk about it. Once they start asking me about crypto and how to buy it, I know I need to get the hell out of there. That's the truth. It's the secret of crypto. Whoops. So, for Mr. Boshangles, if you're still in here, because then we have to go through some reading, my friend, but I promised you I would do this. Oh, yes, he is. So, you might have heard when I gave you a little bit of feedback how I used to watch this, Mr. Boshangles. Oh, I used to watch this. And I had this thing so dead to rights, and I just stopped watching it for some reason. When I went through my accumulation phase, I had this thing by the grow you-know-what. And I was going to buy this rotation. I had all the way until October to do it, and I fudged it up. That's Corium. What is this? Where the heck's my Telcoin? Give my Telcoin. That's not even the right price I'm going to say. Oh, this is the other chart. I thought I was going to remember the chart from long ago. This isn't the right one. Oh, maybe it is. Because the technical move I was talking about way back there was coming down. See, that's what I mean. I didn't do my due diligence. It came exactly down to where I was talking about. I told everybody I would not buy that rotation up here when everybody wanted me to buy it at 009. And I showed exactly where I thought it would come down to right here. To 0081 is where I was going to buy it. And look at, you even had 2 shots here along that same accumulation. Son of a... Look at that. See, that's why I say due diligence. Sometimes you are meant to buy something, but you just forget or whatever. And this is one of those cases where there's some of them that I really want to, you know what, to myself. But even if I would have bought it at, let's just say 001, that's still up almost 300% from it. So it's nowhere near where it was at before, as it fell down from that 009 area. So there's still a lot of room, but I want to see something here. So I want to see, because I didn't buy in yet, exactly where I could find a moment of opportunity. So I'm going to get rid of all this. That's an old thing I used to. I'm getting rid of all this, all of this. Don't care. Nope. So after this, though, we're going to read some of the stuff that we must get through. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we've got XRP drops alongside mass profit taken by Ripple holders. But I'm not even the most interested about this. This is what really gets me interested. XRP community activist rebutes Ripple price manipulation allegation, which is kind of funny to me. But, you know, we'll see what they have to say. You can't really rebut something that's on the record all the way back from 2016-17. And I've read through it. with the trading bots and such and yada, yada, yada. Ripple got in trouble sometime in the recent past. So I dare say probably can't go up like that. I would say if I was looking at this objectively before the breakout, I would have had the pattern set up like this, which means on a back test, we would have to wait to see if this is bullish, and you'd have to be patient to 0024. So 0024, as long as I'm paying attention to this, is where I'm going to have a technical buy spot. Right now, if we break this into a smaller time frame, okay, so we do have a little bit of an uptrend that we have to break. So we're just watching for a simple movement right now. We're looking to break this uptrend, and that would be our catalyst to come back down to that uptrend or this pattern breakout. So that's what we're looking for. There we go. RSI on the overbought for sure. Daily way overbought. Okay, so we should get this in time. We should certainly get this. We're going to have a reversal in the market. It's not just XRP and everything's speaking it. So Mr. Boshangles, if you're asking me, I would not even be looking to buy this, me personally, until 0024 area. Yes, I know that uptrending support could hold on this recent part, but I'm not necessarily buying that. So you can make a choice, 7%, or I'm choosing to wait and see how it reacts down here. Not saying it's a guarantee, but that's in my own personal opinion where my first chance to buy it would be. So hopefully that helps. That's what I'm looking at for Telcoin right now, but we got more to talk about. I will continue to keep this chart on here, and we'll continue to update as the days go. So that now, Mr. Boshangles, it'll be on my KSM charts. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that gives you a better understanding of where we're at right now and where you should be targeting. That's where I'm targeting. As Bitcoin right now is still around at 68,400. So let's read this. Let's get through some of this. So XRP community activist rebukes Ripple price manipulation allegations. I know, Mr. Boshangles, I did at 0.008 so perfectly. Oh, that's why I said that's one. Remember when I messaged you and I sent you my message? I said it's one that I regret because I was watching it for so long and I knew exactly where it was going to go. It was just a matter of being, diligent. I'm doing a lot of things with different tokens, but if I would have been diligent with that, I'd be up about 300% right now. Now, who knows how much money you would have thrown in, but the point is there's still opportunity and we don't need to be mad. We'll find it. XRP community activist rebukes Ripple price manipulation allegation. So here's the key points of what we're going to read. XRP community member Cherie debates Ripple's alleged manipulation sparked by trading bot allegations. Cherie distinguishes two different ways of spelling the name right there. Manipulation, I'd say the manipulation is the spelling of the name here. Manipulation from causation, defending Ripple's XRP sales. Legal scrutiny, and the judge's ruling minimize Ripple's perceived influence on XRP's price. A member of the XRP community who goes by the name of Cherie, has ignited a debate on X challenging allegations that Ripple has manipulated the price of its XRP token. Cherie replied to an accusation that Ripple has employed trading bots. See, I don't like when people do this. See, instead of doing the news like I did and showing you the actual, I'm not even reading through all this. How I showed you the actual documentation from the actual official documents from 2016. This has been going on. This isn't just happening. This happened in 2016, 2017, and it wasn't even Ripple themselves. See, she's misinterpreting or misstating the facts because they don't understand the facts. They're looking for views, and this is the problem with this community. The fact is Ripple wasn't using the trading bots. The fact is that somebody else who had tokens, they were basically, and you could say scratch my back, scratch your back, but instead of every time the price was going to go down, they were instructed to buy their portions as it was going down to keep the price from crashing during that big run up in 2016, 2017. Which also, if anybody wants to point to the truth, what does that mean for that big run up it had to 350? The massive several thousand % that everybody keeps pointing at. That means that was artificially built up by artificial buy-ins. That's what they should be targeting, not this nonsense. I already disrespect the way that this is, so I'm not even reading the rest of that. Like, that's just a disaster the way that was phrased. Like, at least have the facts correct for me to have to read it. So XRP price drops alongside mass profit taking by Ripple holders. And that's the biggest kick in the face or slap in the face or kick in the teeth, that we can get as a community with XRP and Ripple. Everybody lies about it. They don't even do their due diligence to do the research. They don't provide you any evidence, and they just give you their lousy take at something that they've only read on social media instead of actually looking through the legal documents like we have. It's a damn shame. XRP price drops alongside mass profit taking by Ripple holders. XRP price dropped 62 cents on Friday as holders took $368.79 million in profits in the week. The deadline for the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit for the regulator's remedies related opening brief is March 22nd. XRP trade volume observed a spike several times this week as on-chain activity in the altcoin peaks. XRP price dipped to 62 cents on Friday, sustaining above the psychologically important 60-cent level. As we know, that is not true as of now. It dropped down to like 58.8 cents, but has since recovered over 62 cents. Despite increased profit-taking activities from the altcoin holders, the altcoin is set to close the week with mild losses correcting slightly from the recent price recovery ahead of a key deadline in the long-standing SEC versus Ripple lawsuit on March 22nd. Daily Digest market movers XRP holders engage in profit-taking activities in March. XRP holders have taken $370 million in profits in the past week. Since the beginning of March 24th, this could be one of the main reasons of the price correction seen in the last few days. According to the on-chain data from Sentiment, XRP holders have taken profits consistently throughout March, as the altcoin climbed to a peak of 66.85 cents on Tuesday. XRP has noted a spike in its on-chain activity with an increase in active addresses and whale transactions valued at $100,000 and higher. Both metrics have spiked in the last week. By itself, an increase in active addresses and transactions from large wallet investors can be bullish or bearish for the asset's price. However, if transactions spike after a price rally like the recent one seen for XRP, it could mean that whales are looking to sell and book profits. The SEC vs. Ripple lawsuit's next important deadline is March 22nd, so 14 days from now. The opening brief and the remedies-related discovery. The altcoin's price has declined despite rising trade demand, likely in response to selling pressure from traders. So if you guys are still watching, gals, if you would like to join me and relax with me, as when you see me when I relax, I'm not smoking cigarettes. I don't smoke cigarettes. But I did break my back many, many, many years ago when I was 23. I'm 40 now, and this is my saving grace. I don't take any kind of pain medications. It really has changed me for the better since I was 23 when they tried to put me on a whole bunch of things that you couldn't even imagine. I went through shock therapy on the back. I don't know if I've ever told my audience that before. Went through shock therapy for almost the better part of a year where they burned my nerve endings in my lower back so that I could try to walk. I didn't know it was technically thrown away after 900,000 people went through it because it was deemed torturous. But hey, it formed me into who I am now and I can actually walk. I was using a cane for many years. It took me like 3 years to get up and walk normal. They told me it would never happen. That's why I always say don't listen to everybody. Do what you think you can do. You gotta do what you gotta do. Oh no, I'm good. Bradley, oh no, my back. Well, it's not good. I always have the fracture and stuff like that in it. But it's made me who I am. And not just that, like today was like my 314th or it was more than that. I've been working out now since 2 weeks before Halloween, back in 22 again, lifting weights and doing my cardio and stuff, but mostly my weights and then some cardio every day too. But outside of like 2 months, I had to stop for 8 weeks because I broke a couple bones in my hands and my forearm and stuff last year. But it's been pretty nice. It's been pretty nice to be back there too, and been doing it for so long. It's awesome. And then I've been also I do intermittent fasting, and I've been doing it for over a year now. I only eat 8 hours of the day. So I eat between 1 and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day, and then I don't eat outside of it. That's done wonders for my mental health too. Like because I don't create serotonin. I had a closed head injury. See, you're getting everything today. And another car accident that wasn't my fault. You know. Yeah, good old traumatic brain injury. So anyhow, let's continue reading. So technical analysis. XRP price could sweep lows before recovery. If selling pressure persists, XRP price could sweep the 57-cent low, represented by the 50% Fibonacci retracement level of the rally to its 2024 high of 66.85 cents. The moving average convergence divergence MACD indicator and the awesome oscillator AO suggests that a sweep of support at 57 cents is likely before the altcoin price can recover. And we know it came down to about 58.5 cents earlier. However, a daily candlestick close above the 78.6 Fibonacci retracement level at 62 cents could invalidate the thesis of a sweep of support. Should XRP price also overcome the 66-cent resistance level, it could rally towards its December 23 high of 70 cents. So I like the way that they stated that. So if you are still watching, please make sure to hit that like button so YouTube will recommend this live. If you're looking to trade XRP, whether spot or leverage trading in the USA or Canada for that matter, and you don't want to use a VPN, and hell, maybe you don't even want to do a KYC and you want to keep your privacy safe, you don't want everybody to see your trading activities, and you'll send funds from another exchange, you don't even need to do a KYC. In the pinned comments or video description below, and they do have XRP, never got rid of it during under regulatory certainty, and they do have your trading license in Canada and the USA as of 22 in USA, Canada as of January of 24. I would love to hear other countries, the UK and them, if you're able to use it, if you guys try, just let me know on another day in the chat. I would love to know. But lowest spot fees for futures and leverage trading fees, David even verified that in this evening's, or this live right now, that he's been enjoying it too from that angle. And it's just nice to see it doesn't go down in high times of volatility. You know, so take control of your future. Don't pay the extraordinary fees. Don't pay the extraordinary nonsense. You know, I tell the story all the time. If you want to put $1,000 on Uphold, they're going to keep $60 at least. You put it on BITUNIX, you're keeping 998 worth of XRP. They might take $2. It's a big difference. Keep your money where it should be, in your investment portfolio, not in the exchange's pocket, period. So XRP down below 62 cents right now at 61.664 cents. And that's in the pinned comments and or video comment or the video description below. But the pinned comments during the live itself. And then if you want to show me personal support, you can always join Tom's Army and get the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens in month 1 with my face superimposed on it. Or you can send a YouTube super chat, which we have not got any today, but you're not always meant to get them. We're red today. Well, we've had a lot of input, a lot of back and forth, and we're going to have a beautiful hour here as we're coming to a close. But I do thank everybody who's turned in. Please, at the very least, on the way out, hit that like button so YouTube will recommend this live. Share this on social media or just share it in general. You can share it to OnlyFans. You can share it to, I don't even care where you share it. You know, so we all got to do our business, so you can share wherever you want. And don't be afraid to use a little bit of my content, too. If you are a creator, just give me credit and send people my way. I don't shut it off for any creators. If they want to take a snip, if they want to use some of my content, some of the information, there is no restriction. I never flag anybody unless they're openly just using my content without their own creative control, obviously. But I never restrict anybody, and dozens of people over the last couple months actually have started using it, which is nice to see. My charts especially, but you know, it comes and goes. But while I have everybody's attention, as we know for XRP, just remember this. And TradingView is acting so weird again right now. It's crazy. It's been doing this the last couple days, but it's starting to get very volatile when you try to click on it. Sometimes it doesn't load, but just close it down and then it should correct it. Otherwise, you have to reset it, uninstall, reinstall sometime. So XRP. First step, if you want it to continue moving up, we've got to get over 64 cents. Let's just call it for what it is. 64 cents is a big resistance. And then if it drags out to the uptrending resistance around 643, then it could open the door back up to us finally starting to push back this rising channel resistance, which could be all the way up to about 69 cents right now, almost 70. But don't get too excited. But because before you have to deal with that, we've still got to try to get past the rising channel resistance from June of 2022. So one way or the other, And now that's at 67 cents where we're going to come up to in current times. So one way or the other, we're going to be volatile. Do we get a rejection or do we break down? Do we break down here first before we can come up for a rejection? The one thing that we will say is breaking down on this short-term ascending formation is not a good sign. What we formed yesterday is not a great sign. And this could very well be the catalyst to continue us down. But we should be able to come up for a rejection. So is this a reversal candle that's showing us this? I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor, but what I'm trying to do is put in all the information so we can make an educated and informed decision together, you know, and be at our best and not have to guess. That's how I like to do it. Did I just see a donation sneak by? I wish I could see out of my left eye, but I can't because I have keratoconus, so it's a big blur. But I know I seen yellow. That means it was like a $9.99 donation. Based on the color, it was a $10 donation roughly. Let's see if I'm right. Maybe it's less, maybe it's more. But whoever sent that, thank you. You've kept us from going donation list during the live, and I greatly appreciate it. I do greatly appreciate it. It is a $9.99 donation. Thank you so much for that, Will Rob. First YouTube super chat while watching my lives. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much for that, friend. So everybody pay attention to everything I'm saying. Tom, I love it when you say you're not a financial advisor, but what the hell do I know? It's clear to me you know a hell of a lot. So thank you for sharing your knowledge. I really appreciate that, my friend. Well, you know, we got to be bashful, but I've also got to be honest. I'm not a financial advisor, but like I used to say, aren't you glad I'm not? I've never seen a financial advisor perform the way we do here. But it also puts the onus on each and every one of you. So thank you all so much. Come back at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you watch Bitcoin at two levels, 69,384 roughly, and then 70,200 approximately where it hit that high. And then underneath, make sure if Bitcoin loses 66,286 pivot point, or 283 actually, I think it is. 66,283. If it loses that support, as we seen that pivot held earlier, that would be a big breakdown. And then that could signal a big drop. But as of right now, we held it. And now we're going to see how this transpires. Kat D, I follow a very seasoned Elliott Wave technician that's talking about the moon dump tomorrow. I tend to believe this, and it lines up with what you're saying as well. Yes, I tend to agree with that. I agree with that. And it doesn't mean I'm selling out all my portfolio. It means that my eyes are wide open and I'm likely going to leverage trade Bitcoin, as I talked about, because I believe Bitcoin's going to be the most profitable, well, maybe not the most profitable, but it'll be the easiest one to not get leveraged out of. So basically with Bitcoin, I found it a lot easier to trade leverage because like with XRP, if you're on a 30x trade, if you buy at 64 cents, by 63.6, you might be done. Or maybe even less, 63 cents. You know, it's not a big range. But if you do the same thing on Bitcoin, you can work with a several thousand point range if you do it right. Or maybe 1,500 or 1,000, depending on if you're doing a 50 or 4, you know. But you can have a wider range to work with. So to me, as long as you stay inside of like, hey, Bitcoin could go to 72,000, you know, you should be okay, because this is trying to suggest to us, even if we overextend out, the most we should have been able to account for with that bull flag, we should fizzle out somewhere around 71,100 area, or 71,200. But I say like 72,000 just to give yourself room on a big blow off. But nobody says it's even going to come up there. We could be exhausted already. We could be exhausted. And I could have just, you know, put the mark at a different spot. And what if I would have just said, oh, 65,633, but then it wouldn't have made sense for the drop down. So we actually did put it in the spot that I think is right. And we got that confirmation with that wick today. So I have no doubt, though, with Bitcoin, they're setting us up. I mean, look how oversold it is. Like, let's not kid ourselves here. Bitcoin in the weekly's at over 90. Still. And where do we think we're going from here? We're at 90, 91. Nowhere to go but down. And we're going to build this very bullish handle here and shake everybody else out. Telling you. And it could come all the way down here to 38 to 42. Just pay attention. I almost say that 46 is a nice spot too, because that was the first cup. So you could put the handle on the first cup, which would be beautiful. So just be happy that you're in the place you're at. Don't overthink this, and come back at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because we're all going to need to get a quick update again. Thank you all so much. If you made it until the end, hashtag be better, do better in the comments. Thank you all so much, and have a blessed afternoon.